just making sure I have the right speech. It does happen sometimes you start reading the wrong one. Thank you very much, Program Director, and thank you very much, Karabo. That was the shortest introduction of myself that I've ever had. But I know why, because I intimidated her. So I said to Karabo, are you going to introduce me? She says, yes. I said, no obituaries. You must be brief. Let me, ladies and gentlemen, start by greeting the Executive Deputy Chairperson of NYDA, Karabo Mohale. I would like to welcome our sister, former Vice President of Gambia, Her Excellency Dr. Esotau Toure. I'm told that Minister Dlamini Zuma is not able to join us today, but we welcome her in absentia. I'm told she will be able to touch base with the NYDA as she works with the youth. MEC Rogers Munama from Limpopo, MEC for Economic Development, welcome. Mr. Themba Khumalo, Principal Advisor, Value Chains, who's also the African Free Trade, Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat, traditional leaders and senior government officials, my brother, Comrade SG, not Mbalula, the other one, Statistician General, members of the Diplomatic Corps, heads of missions, High Commissioners, Ambassadors, there are many of us in the room that needs to be acknowledged. I won't be able to acknowledge all of you, but I know that our High Commissioner, Charlotte Lobb, is also here amongst us, and if there are other ambassadors who are here, we welcome all of you most sincerely. Program Director, we consider it a great privilege to participate in the second NYDA Investment Roundtable discussion, which is being held under the theme Unlocking Investment for Human Capital for an Inclusive Economy. This theme is derived, as Mekarabo said earlier, derived from this year's Youth Month theme, which is Accelerating Youth Economic Emancipation for a Sustainable Future. In today's rapidly evolving and extremely competitive global economy, we believe that investing in our youth is the key to a prosperous and sustainable future. As a country, we need to pool the knowledge and resources of businesses, government, and civil society in order to unlock the full potential of our young people and create a sustainable and equitable economy. In this regard, we are pleased that this investment roundtable has been successful in bringing key stakeholders on board to make deliberate commitments to contributing to young people's development through various investment channels. Program Director, as we gather here this morning and discuss over the next day or so, it is crucial that we keep in mind our goals, which are as follows. First, to present pathways of market accessibility through the African Continental Free Trade Area. 2, to advance the growth and development of SMEs through financial and non-financial support. 3, to increase capital investments towards youth development programs. And 4, to create a platform to identify possible market linkages between young people and potential investors. These objectives are significant because they set the foundation for the National Development Plan, the NDP, which is a strategy for ensuring the future prosperity of South Africans in accordance with our Constitution. The NDP places an emphasis on the significance of inclusive growth by accelerating the rate at which young people are included in opportunities for employment and enterprise development. The following is an outline of what the NDP calls for. First one, improving education and skills development, starting with improved basic education and early childhood development. 2, strengthening competition laws to address unequal ownership and control, which maintains high barriers of entry and also hinders the expansion of critical job-creating markets. 3rd, increasing private sector participation in public-dominated industries and building effective regulatory authorities to cap monopolies. And 4th, providing support and incentive for labor-intensive sectors, including agriculture, agro-processing, and tourism. Program Director, as a country, we are going through the most difficult period in the history of our democracy. We are faced with challenges ranging from an ongoing energy crisis, high unemployment rates, particularly amongst young people, dwindling investor confidence, and an economy that is not growing rapidly enough to meet our development goals. I'm sure the SG will show us the figures later, maybe a bit of hope going forward. But according to Stats SA, the youth unemployment rate reached 6.1% in the first quarter of this year, nearly 2/3 of young people that are not engaged in any form of viable employment. This, of course, is a ticking bomb, and this imminent crisis requires immediate and unwavering attention from all of us. So we are hoping, SG, that you might bring some good news in terms of the recent statistics. We do want some good news going forward. But as a country, we need young people to take the lead in driving growth and employment. On our end as government, we have created a favorable environment to support the youth to become successful entrepreneurs with flourishing businesses. We are committed to help in drawing more young people into the economy. Firstly, by addressing the mismatch between the skills needed by the economy and those possessed by young people. If, as a nation, we do not make a concerted effort to invest in the growth of our human capital and train our young people to acquire more marketable skills, we will not be able to create a nation that is competitive relative to the rest of the world. We need to make sure that young people get the kind of education and training they need to adapt quickly to workplace of the future. We urge business leaders to work with the government to develop skills-based initiatives that can meet the needs of the economy. Program Director, government cannot do this alone. As government, as we know that government creates an enabling environment for the private sector and other sectors to create employment. So we want more private sector companies to partner with us going forward. We should all be expanding initiatives that provide work experience for young people and offer support to young people, offer finance, market opportunities, and other forms of support for young entrepreneurs. Regarding the grants that we provide, we must ensure that they are attached to long-term economic outcomes, such as employment, sustained growth, and skills development. Program Director, in the light of this, we are pleased to announce the following achievements, and we're hoping for more going forward. Regarding the NYDA's grant program for 2022 and 2023 fiscal year. And the first one is that more than 2,000 youth or youth-owned enterprises have been funded. 34,000 youth and youth-owned enterprises are supported with non-financial and development interventions. More than 6,000 jobs created and sustained through supporting entrepreneurs and enterprises. In addition, the National Youth Development Agency and the University of Sao Paulo have organized an agricultural summer school that we believe will benefit a lot of young people. The Tropical Bio-Based Production System Summer School seeks to provide an overview of the technologies, economics, and environmental scenario of the Brazilian agriculture, forestry, and livestock farming through lectures and field trips. The University of Sao Paulo in Brazil hosts the school annually. The NYDA will provide funding for 4 young people to attend the summer school in Brazil, and upon their return, they will be expected to enrich our country with the necessary skills that they would have gained in Brazil. So we wish to congratulate the 4 participants that will be traveling to Brazil at the end of July. I'm not sure if they are in the house, but in Ms. Ntokozo Hepim Caesar, yes, Ntokozo. And Ntokozo is 29-year-old. You may be seated, Ntokozo, I've seen you. Ladies and gentlemen, she's a PhD candidate in animal science from the University of the Northwest. Also, welcome Sifiso Sami Zondo is welcome there. Welcome. Sifiso is 26-year-old and also a PhD candidate in agriculture from the University of Mpumalanga. Bakhona baseMpumalanga. Halala Mpumalanga. Halala Northwest. Third is Ms. Mapula Lisailani. There's Mapula, 27-year-old. Yeah, it's really youth namhlanje. Now, Mapula she is cum laude in genetics, graduate from the University of Stellenbosch. and she is currently working in Limpopo and Tzaneen. And lastly, Mr. Ramatolo Tlotleng, 33 years old, and advanced diploma in animal sciences from the University of Tshwane Technology. We wish you well as you travel and come back and enrich our country. Congratulations to all of you. Program Director, we are indeed working towards economic transformation for young people. This is also evident through the 2020 Presidential Youth Employment Intervention. These interventions aim to realize rapid gains by linking more young people to new and existing opportunities and to create 2 million jobs for young people in the course of a decade. Among other things, the Presidential Youth Employment Intervention brings together a wide range of partners and breaks down silos between government departments, but also amongst different levels of government. That's your national, provincial, local government, but also the private sector. Ladies and gentlemen, speaking of partnership, it's important that as a country we continue to value partnership, particularly as we are a signatory to the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. To us, this is a groundbreaking agreement which paves the way for young people in South Africa to engage in different markets on the African continent, but also provide opportunities for exposure and development of human capital. It is thus important to invest in the building of capacity and support young people to trade in the continent, but more so to provide accessible financial support. There needs to be diversified financial instruments that speak directly to the needs of young people, and we need to make a process to access them in a very less cumbersome way. Young people in rural areas should not be forgotten. They should not be excluded. And we know that young people in rural areas face enormous challenges. They too should be supported, and their talents and businesses or business acumen should be harnessed. Addressing the challenges of rural communities is a big step towards creating an equitable society. In fact, recently I've been visiting a lot of provinces, and I've made sure that when my office arranges programs, we try and go to rural communities, as the President has asked us to go and look at programs of government in these areas, but particularly where there are challenges of service delivery. So we are trying a lot to bring rural communities to the fore. Program Director, the Spatial Economic Activity Data South Africa reveals that economic activities vary across the region, with the largest cities lagging behind job creation compared to smaller towns since 2013-14 tax year. It is therefore upon us as this NYDA Investment Roundtable to explore more investment opportunities in rural and peri-urban areas in order to more equitably spread economic opportunity for young people. By promoting competition and attracting private capital, states will be able to design support programs. This can play a pivotal role in making trade opportunities accessible to to young people both in rural and urban areas. This will help countries to reduce inequality gap. Youth entrepreneurs can capitalize on trade agreements and frontier technologies to tackle systemic social issues, addressing societal needs and challenges globally, regardless of their developmental level. As young people are generally among the earliest adopters of new technologies, they are poised to take advantage of innovations in this area to drive the impact of social entrepreneurship. Ladies and gentlemen, one other critical thing that we must also take into consideration is the mental health of young people. To have young people who are engaged in economic activity, we need to ensure that their mental health is top priority. And the National Youth Policy 2030 accordingly places a priority on the mental health of young people. This also means that we must invest in resources such as therapy and support groups, making mental health care more accessible to all, and breaking down the barriers that prevent people from seeking care. We must also accelerate the implementation of the NYP with regard to changing their lives and dealing with the hardships that youth experience due to unemployment or high levels of unemployment and economic hardships. Since the dawn of democracy, our government has embarked on reforms to drive transformation, inclusivity for young people, particularly through what was started as the National Youth Commission, established on 16 June 1996 by former President Nelson Mandela. This was followed by the establishment of Umsobomvu Fund in 2001 to create entrepreneurship and job creation opportunities in response to the high levels of unemployment and economic challenges that young people are facing. The Umsobomvu Youth Fund was one of the largest investments the government made to address the country's youth unemployment challenges. Following the 2009 merge of this institution to become the National Youth Development Agency, the NYDA, it is your responsibility to ensure that both public and private sectors play a transformative role in bringing young people into the mainstream of the economy. To further strengthen service delivery, promote nation building, foster social cohesion, and assist the youth in acquiring occupational skills necessary for sustainable livelihood opportunities, the government has also established what we call the National Youth Service Program, the largest service program of its kind in South Africa today. Program Director, as we mark 20 years since the National Youth Service Program inception, we must reflect on how far we have come in our mission to instill a sense of national pride and pride in one's neighborhood, teach young people life skills, and encourage community service that is based on voluntarism or volunteering. The significance that the National Youth Service plays in reversing the adverse effects of youth unemployment and apathy was demonstrated by its inclusion in the State of the Nation address, with a declaration that the revitalized National Youth Service will create a further 36,000 opportunities through non-profit and community-based organizations. In 2022-23 financial year, the following were achieved, or the following achievements were highlighted, amongst others: 12,000 young people who participated in the National Youth Service, expanded volunteer projects, more than 7,000 young people who participated in the Community Works Program, More than 46,000 young people who have secured paid service opportunities, and 34,000 young people who have completed service activities. 7,000 young people who transitioned out of the National Youth Service to other opportunities. This is just a few of the things that we have achieved, but we are obviously looking at doing more and more, and I'm hoping that out of this roundtable discussions, we will come out with more ideas that will help us advance. Program Director, as I conclude, we have highlighted a number of different government programs where we want to partner with the private sector as well, but we want to see more young people participating and the youth driving economic growth and development in our country. Now, many always say, well, government is very good at coming up with programs, very good, but hey, when it comes to implementation, say a chiga. So I want to make a call to you as young people to come in that space of implementation. The policies are there, the programs are there. We have to do what I call the discipline of execution. We want to make sure young people must be impatient when things are not happening. So come in, drive implementation so that we can see progress. Because it's well and good to have conferences, to review policies, but we must, when we come to such gatherings, be able to say, "Sese la manje." We were here, now we are here. There is progress. So that's what I want to see happening. More than ever before, I want to see young people at the forefront of implementation. If we can accomplish this, if we can ensure that there's discipline of execution and faster implementation, there's no way we can fail. In whatever we do, whatever our plans are, we will succeed to implement programs that will benefit young people, but we want to see young people at the forefront. You know, there is a slogan that the Youth League likes, "Uzoithola kanjani." You know that one? Uzoithola kanjani. Yes. If you are sitting in a corner somewhere, there's no progress that will come to you. So we want you young people at the forefront. And you know, when I talk about the discipline of execution, it's really us being impatient when things are done in a slow pace. I always make an example, you know, with Rwanda, and I think many people have heard me saying this. When I visited Rwanda at some point and I asked them how long it takes for them to approve permits. At the time I was in Gauteng, and the Premier of Gauteng, David Makura, who became Premier after me, brought me back to Gauteng to be his MEC for Human Settlement. And then he called me one day and said, in addition to what you're doing as MEC for Human Settlement, I want you to cut red tape in government. Now, the Premier didn't give me terms of reference, no resources, so I had to figure out, what does this man want me to do? So I started bringing a team around and we started doing work. And during one of my travels, I went to Rwanda because I'm looking at what other countries are doing. And I was very, impressed when in Rwanda they told me that when somebody applies for a business license, the turnaround is quite faster. So I wanted to know how long it takes them. Can you guess how long it takes to get a reply from the government? Not that we've received your letter, and the reply that says, yes, you've got this permit or not. 6 hours. Not 6 days, 6 hours. So when you talk about the speed of execution and getting things done, it's real, it can be done. It's not magic, it just needs that discipline. Not these people, when they get documents in their offices, they look at the documents and, oh, I'm still going to lunch for 2 hours. No, don't care. We have seen that in some government departments where somebody look at you and like, oh, sorry, we're going to lunch, we're closing. Come back next week. No, we need the discipline to get things done. It is done in other countries. And we can learn more from what other countries are doing. But Program Director, let me thank you to have the opportunity to join you this morning. Karabo, my sister, thank you very much. We wish you well. Young people are the future. You see, we are getting old. I was once a youth myself, but you can see the gray hair is coming. So we are looking upon you to lead the way as young people. Please lead the way. We will support you. You know, you want to raise $500 million. There's no way we are going to abandon young people. You know, I'm going to talk to Minister Kodongwane, and we will throw in so that you can succeed. I don't want a situation where you say, we have so many good programs as young people, but our government never supported us. That will be something of the past. That's why today the programs of young people are in the presidency. I'm sure you are aware of that. In the presidency, because we want to ensure that the presidency as the center is right at the top of supporting young people and women in this country. I would have liked to hear you, SG, with your statistics and maybe hear the other inputs, but unfortunately, I'm not able to stay long because the president had to leave for France for other urgent matters. So yesterday, there are some things that he's asked me to take care of whilst he's away. I remember the government can't be on autopilot. So somebody must take care. So I have to go and take care of those things. I can't tell you what they are because, you know, as a government are top secret. Thank you very much.